lot of people don't realize the incredible changes that have taken place in my lifetime. I've seen this countries go from socialist model, from a dictatorship model, to a capital-oriented, a market-oriented model is probably a better way to put it. And it was, you know, it was interesting because I had preparation for that because I studying at MIT in the economics department. Their focus was on economic growth. And, you know, all these professors are trying to figure out, how do you get these countries to grow? Why isn't this country growing? It's a rich country, it's got all these resources, but they're not growing. Brazil, you can name a whole bunch of countries. One professor said, well, you build a railroad and it'll grow. Another one said, build a steel mill, you'll grow. One of my professors even said, you have to raise your children in a certain way, and then it will grow. And of course, a lot of people were looking at the model of the Puritan society, the Puritan model, where hard work, diligence, et cetera. And they said that's the reason why these countries have grown and why the others have not. And then of course somebody said, well, how about Japan? They're not Christian, but yet they're growing. So then, you know, they started evolving a new model of economic growth. That model was a capitalistic or market-oriented model of growth. And that's where we are today. It's an incredible thing that, you know, we've developed globally. Now, there is a problem, though. We're beginning to get a move to the left again. That's another question. The favorite now actually is India.
Okay. Can you give us a bit of color on that?
The reason for that is that, number one, India is growing at an incredible pace, growing at a faster pace than China. Number two, there's one tax throughout the country. It's been a mind-boggling revelation and revolution in the whole country. It's really had an incredible impact on so many companies. I remember talking to one company who said, gee, this GST, this nationwide GST, has saved us a fortune. Because every time we were transporting between states, we had to pay a tax. Now it goes right through. And we have increased earnings by 10% as a result of this. So this is just one example. The other example is the ID cards. This is incredible. I went to a small village where they were doing this. This village had no roads. It was a dirt path, basically. And in the school room, they were giving these cards, you taking photos of an ID card, and they'd march them over to another room in another part of the village where there was a representative of the bank and open a bank account. This is revolutionary because so many people didn't have bank accounts. So when the government was transferring money to these farmers for some subsidy or whatever, a lot of it got lost in bureaucracy. Now they could directly transfer it into the bank account. Again, a huge, huge change. So it's not so evident, you know, if you're walking the streets of India that these changes are happening, but they're happening and they're having an incredible impact. So that's one of the reasons why we're so interested in India. Besides the fact there's so many great companies and really smart people that are so frugal in the way they operate. I remember it's really good. The other area is Brazil. And that's been good for us because, as you know, the Brazilian market has recovered very nicely. Korea is the other one because a lot of good things happening in Korea as a result of the weakening of the chaebols in Korea. And Taiwan is another one. That's it, really. Africa, not yet. In fact, I've told my guys, hey, tell me about what to buy in South Africa. I'm still waiting. For some reason, it's not popping up into their states. And by the way, we do look at the political situation in each country, and we love to see what's happening in Brazil. We love to see what's happening in India, because, you know, the reform agenda and so forth. And I mean, we think that South Africa is looking pretty good with the changes that have taken place recently, but we realize it's going to take time for this really, this change to be followed through in practical terms. So I told my guys, hey, they're great companies in South Africa, but for some reason, nothing has popped up yet. But we're going to see. If any of you guys have good ideas, appreciate it. We're only interested in small and medium-sized companies, not in the large cap. ESG is the big deal now, as you all know. Environmental, social, governance. Every client, major client is interested in that. Some of the retail clients, they really don't know. I remember I was invited on this cruise, on the Forbes magazine has a cruise. And we went from Perth, Australia to Melbourne on this boat. And I was talking to this woman who obviously was a pretty wealthy woman, investing in funds. And I said, you know, I'm interested in ESG. She said, what's that? I said, it's environmental, social governance. She said, can I make money with that? So, I mean, this is a big, big question. And of course, what we found is yes, you can make money if you focus on governance. If you can get companies that are improving their governance, their stock price will perform better than others. And there have been a number of studies to indicate that. So what we're doing is we're saying, let's go after those companies that don't yet have a score for governance, but where we can go in and engage with them and help them improve their governance. Independent board member, IR department, so forth and so on. Anything that will benefit the minority shareholders, then we think the performance will be better. So that's where we're coming
It's
from.
more the G than the whole of it.
It's more the G, because we feel that if you improve the G, the E and the S can be implemented much easier. I think eventually there will be a unification of the two Koreas, but it's going to take time. And the desire of the Koreans to get together is so strong. And if that happens, wow, it's going to be big. Because you must remember, the North has a lot of minerals. There are a lot of rare earth minerals and so forth in the North, which the South can use. And the North, of course, has a very disciplined workforce. You know, this could be quite something. Of course, potential, talking about the future potential, is Africa. No question in my mind on that. It's an incredible future potential. It's like China maybe 20 years ago. It's that kind of incredible potential. And what we're finding is that, yes, we want to invest more in Africa, but the problem is we're running funds that need liquidity. So that's the reason why a lot of times we'll gravitate to South Africa, because you've got a market, you've got market liquidity. What we do is we say, look, we're not going to touch a company unless it has, I say, $1 million a day. But then just yesterday we were talking about a company with $300,000 daily liquidity, and I raised the question. I say, guys, you gotta be careful, because you know we're running an open-ended fund. We have both a trust and a closed-end open-end. We gotta be careful about liquidity. So that's the big challenge with Africa, is the liquidity issue. Other issues, you know, political, whatever, we can surmount. This is, you know, solvable. We can go in. And you see the incredible variety of what's happening in Africa. You know, each country is very different from the other, and you can't differentiate one from the other. But we think going forward, Africa is the place that's going to be really, really exciting.